We'll move on to the Ryanair, which is interesting for a lot of different reasons. And Leon, if you don't mind giving us the prices for the Ryanair on the Thursday, please.
Yeah, 5 to 2 min. As you've said, he's probably not going to run, so everything will be shorter. Footpad 7 to 2 at the minute. There has been a lot of money around for Footpad in the last kind of 3 or 4 days for this race. Monaghan 9 to 2, on the Sceaux 6 to 1, Road to Respect and Froden 7 to 1, Top Notch. Well, they're talking about him now going to the Stayers hurdle. I think that's probably why the money has come for Footpad, owned by the same people.
And Road to Respect will probably run the Gold Cup, will he?
Yeah, Road to Respect will probably run the Gold Cup. Balco de Flow 10 to 1, and Robbie's horse 10 to 1, because I think the mare Shattered Love is going to go in the Gold Cup. I'm a big fan of Monaghan. If they decide to go this race, I think this is the right trip. 2 miles 5. No disgrace finishing second to Presenting Percy last year over 3 miles in the RSA, but he was well beaten. And I think his performance at Goran Park the last day, when Rachel got a great tune out of him from the front, he jumps very well, Hugh, and he could just be in front and jump fence to fence.
Yeah.
He won't get it all his own way now, as he did in Goran Park. Horses won't just give him an easy lead in Cheltenham. Footpad can go from the front, as we know, but it's a long time since he's raced past 2 miles.
Yeah.
Now, he has won over 3 miles as a hurdler. So
in France, that was.
Yeah, but you wouldn't doubt his stamina. I think Fence has brought about a little bit more speed in him, because he just jumped electric as a novice.
Yeah.
Obviously, he had his problems this year. But for me, I'm going to stick with Monaghan if they go with this race. I think this is the proper race for him.
Yeah, and it does seem like 3 miles just is that too far for Monaghan. But just going back to Footpad, Ted, at Christmas, an awful lot of people were very excited about seeing him. I suppose recover the damage from Nace, where he just overreached and picked up an injury early on, but he just got beaten over the last by Simply Ned. What do you make of him this season?
Well, you couldn't make a whole lot of him, but when he jumped the last at Leopardstown, I think everybody, including myself, thought he was going to go away and win 3 or 4 lengths. And the last 100 metres there, he was tying up, and tying up is not a word I like to use, but he was running out of petrol, and Simply Ned got back and beat him. And there wasn't that far back to the others. He lacked what we saw last year there anyway. I thought like he was a horse that was a special horse last year. That's not there. It may come back. If it comes back, whatever race he runs in, he'll put up a big show. But until you'd be sure that was there, you'd be inclined to oppose him. I mean, that run at Leopardstown wouldn't win a Ryanair or anything, because Simply Ned is a good horse, but he's 11-year-old, is he, puppy?
Yeah, he's 11.
10 or 11, yeah. That wouldn't win a Ryanair. But if Willie decides to go that route with him, and he's happy with him, and he's back to his best, but they're all ifs. I mean, there's a lot of ifs there.
It's a bit like Lorena. He has to go and show it. I suppose he was so brilliant last year, and from an Irish point of view, people.
But unlike Lorena now, Lorena has done her 2 jobs and done it well.
Okay.
This fella has disappointed.
Yeah.
He was disappointing at Naas. He was in and out the way he jumped. I know he picked up an overreach, and he was jumped super at Leopardstown and travelled like a winner. Yet he didn't go and win. There's a question mark about him somewhere along the line. Obviously, he's not what he was last year, but that's not to say that he couldn't come back. It's 3 months from Leopardstown to Cheltenham. I'd like to wait and I wouldn't back him, and I mightn't back against him, but I wouldn't back him.
Okay.
I don't think anyone seems to have mentioned Sceaux here. Is he not going to Cheltenham for some reason? Or
Yeah, I tell you, he's almost a forgotten horse a bit.
Unbelievable run behind Altior in the Tingle Creek. I thought it was a fantastic run. Of all the horses that are left in the Ryanair, that's the standout form for the race. He's been there before, he's done it, the trip's not a problem. If he gets a bit of ease in the ground, I think he can go back and win it again.
Is the trip not a problem, though? I mean, some people think the 2 miles is his best trip. You think it's 2.5 miles?
No, I think on soft, he wants very soft ground over 2 miles. When the ground dries up, 2 miles is too sharp for him. He probably doesn't need it as soft over 2.5. But a nice bit of ease in the ground, 2.5, I think is a fine trip for him. I think Monaghan won well in Goran, but Monaghan did nothing in Goran that you wouldn't have expected him to do. I thought it was a very ordinary race in Goran. Annabelle Fly and Kalulta Vic just behind him. I thought that was a very ordinary race, and he did what you'd expect him to do. I think he'd need to improve a hell of a lot to win the Ryanair on that run. But it's interesting. I think on the Sceaux is the value bet in the race at 6 to 1.
Did you want to come in on the Sceaux, Ted?
Yeah, I think Puppy. I forgot to look down through him. Puppy, he definitely that run. He's not getting any younger now. Got beat well in it last year, but I'd say good fresh on the Sceaux is a bit of value. I mean, Froden is going to be make plenty use of him as well too. Monaghan is not going to get an easy lead with Sceaux and Frode and a few others.
Norton Jane, I mean, we heard cases for Sceaux. Apparently, Patrick Mullins says he's still as enthusiastic for the game as ever. Footpad, it's a big what if. Monaghan, you know, as Puppy was saying, his horse as well. So, who do you like if I was to ask you to select one?
Well, I was going to go real strong on Sceaux, and then Robert stole my thunder there. So look, if you want to pick holes in horses, there's very few holes in Sceaux, only his age, and he's shown this year that he's as good nearly as he ever was. He's the epitome of a real hardy horse in that he'll give you his running every day. He's rarely out of the frame. He's a previous winner of the race. If the rain falls, all the better. He's definitely the solid horse. Monaghan, I think that race, as the lad said in Gorn, was more of a schooling race than anything. It was just a pop around. Every horse in behind, they were all preparing for bigger targets. So I think Footpad is no value at that price. Just on his runs this year, I question maybe what he beat over fences as a novice last year as well. He definitely wasn't top drawer over hurdles, and perhaps in open championship company over fences he'll fall short as well. For me, Sceaux represents the best value here.
We're talking about Froden potentially going for the Gold Cup. Apparently Connections wanted to run him in the Gold Cup, but if he does line up in this, he'd have to be a pretty big player.
I think Connections won't run him in the Gold Cup because they think they'll win the Gold Cup at Clondesabo.
Okay.
That's what I'm reading into it. Frodon is a very good horse. He's probably not got any of the respect that he deserves, and he has very good form around Cheltenham. Bryony Foss will ride him, a very good rider over fences, so he's not without his chance. But just from an Irish point of view, Sceaux has been a fantastic horse, and I wouldn't look beyond him. Okay, there you go. So a couple of shouts for Sceaux. And Monaghan getting a fair mention as well. Footpad, huge question mark over what kind of footpad we're going to see, but still it makes for a fascinating race, and that's an absolute cracker. We'll move on to the